Welcome to the Global Real Estate and Entrepreneurship Podcast. I am so delighted to have with me today a top producing broker owner serving the Edmonton and surrounding area. Welcome to the podcast, Seema Sahni from Flaunt Interiors and Real Estate. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me on the show, Nicole.
And I can see
Oh,
from
sorry.
the background that you're coming from this amazing show home. Please talk to us a little bit first about your path in real estate and then how you got into interior design.
For sure. So I got into real estate. I'm going to call myself a kid. I was 23 at that time. So started real estate. And within 2 years of that real estate being an agent journey, I thought I'm going to become a broker. And I went all over Alberta doing my broker courses. Within 6 months, I got my broker's designation and I opened up my brokerage. So it was the first time me becoming an entrepreneur. It was an amazing journey. And then I just took off right from that point. I loved real estate. It thrived everything within me. And I actually succeeded with it, did very well. It actually boosted my confidence as well. And yeah, it was just amazing. And I'm a mom of three kids, so it really served me at the time.
That's great. And you've lasted the test of time. You
Yeah.
have I think you said it was 1993, 98. You opened your initial brokerage.
No, 98 was when I started real estate. 2003 is when I actually incorporated.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
And
so
we know
22 years.
list to last, but there is something to be said for lasting this long in real estate and being a top producer. And then, of course, being the mom of three beautiful boys. Talk to us a little bit about sort of weathering the storms of real estate, the ups and downs. And Alberta has had their ups and downs, just like Ontario and everywhere else in real estate, and how you've pivoted at different times during that journey.
So yes, I mean, when I first got in with my brokerage in 2003, everything was beautiful, and then the market took a huge rise in 2005. That was the most amazing time. So everybody was just taking advantage of that time, and I did too. We were flipping properties, we were buying properties. Then came a time around 2010, 8, when things started to really slow down. The market started to correct itself, pricing, everything dipped. But what kept me going during that time is a new dream. So I remember around that time is when I went for my Feng Shui course. Energetically, something kept pulling me in that direction. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to explore a new avenue which will help me tie something different and add a new twist to like just my whole real estate career. So I went ahead and got my Feng Shui practitioner's license, and I went to the States to get that.
Wow.
And I added that service to real estate just to add an extra way to serve myself to clients and see, you know what, I can help clients with when they're listing their home, adding more energy, or when they're selling their home, how to infuse energy into their home so that buyers get attracted to the property, right?
What an amazing and interesting concept. So, for people who don't know what feng shui is, can you give us a definition and then how you
Absolutely.
incorporated that in real estate?
So feng shui is honestly energizing your space. So we're all surrounded by energy, and because energy is not tangible, it's just it's how you feel in your space. So just and honestly, just by subtle movements of furniture or actually dusting away anything or putting stuff away, you can shift energy. Now, energy becomes stagnant in a space. Like your corners will have stagnant energy. Certain areas, if they're cluttered, will have stagnant energy. That's because energy isn't moving. You've got it blocked. So I energy is just honestly opening up your space to get energy flowing through your body. That's what feng shui is. Get energy flowing through your spaces to bring in more positive flow of like harmonious, happy vibe in your space.
That's awesome. That is such an amazing thing because and we know now too more so, and this is more discussed in general, that money has energy and that we are made up of energy, and then we attract sort of what we are. So feng shui is about, adapting your space for a positive flow and energy. Now, when you say you can have corners that are stagnant and things of that nature, is that because you haven't moved things in a period of time? Can you go from a state of being in flow from a feng shui perspective at one point in time and then not be in feng shui anymore?
You have to keep your energy flowing through the space continuously. Like this has to be a consistent practice where you're going in and you're moving things, just subtly moving things. So corners and every corner in feng shui in your home, according to the feng shui, like the bagua, has its role. So there's a corner for relationships, there's a corner for money, there will be a space for health, there's a space for children, benefactors and travel, and so on. So depending on what you have going on in that space, sometimes we don't get into every corner of our home, right? We get lazy and we put books in areas and then they sit there, and then we'll add clothes or we'll add whatever, like things will start to sit around, and we won't realize that just them being out of place and outside of their designated areas or spots, how they can create stagnant energy, like energy that is not moving. So it's as easy as moving those items, putting them into a closed space, dusting that area, adding a chime, just anything to get that energy flowing. So when I walk into spaces and if somebody says, well, you know what, I'm having a bit of health issues, the first thing that I'm going to check is on the bagua, in their space, what's happening in that health area. And if I notice any kind of clutter, anything that is too heavy, any kind of drainage as far as like washrooms or restrooms go, that's where I know why they're having the health issue. So I just go in and I give them a few solutions to do, which we call corrections. And we go in and we give them the solutions. They're easy solutions that you can implement. And that's actually what led me to interior design, is because those solutions could be aesthetically pleasing and they're doing their role as far as design goes, but there's the intention set behind everything that we're doing, that this is being done, not just for the aesthetics, but it's being done to correct what isn't energetically working for the homeowners in that home.
So it's a mindfulness, and it promotes mindfulness of like, what is your intention for the space?
It's intention, yeah, and awareness that, okay, this space, just being aware that this is the space that is my health area. Now it's affecting me. How can I add more energy, move the energy, just get things, to flow positively and more harmoniously in that area so that it serves me in a positive way.
That's amazing. I love that idea. Now tying that back in with real estate, you said that it was the practice of feng shui and going for that license and that what is it? It's not
Practitioner.
practitioner.
You become a practitioner. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So when you were going for that designation, then that led you into interior design and then back into real estate. And at that point in time, you were doing a custom build, right? You were working on a
That's right.
custom build. So talk
Yes,
to us a little bit about how that custom build and the designing of that sort of then led you into interior design as well.
for sure. So now energizing spaces became my, just my passion to help clients through the whole real estate journey. And then 5 years after that, that was about 2010. And then around 2015, we built my husband, and at the time he was my husband, and we built a luxury home, 14,000 square feet in a very affluent neighborhood. And we opened it up as a show home. This was our first attempt. We were the first show home builders in all of Alberta to open up a show home with that much square footage. Now, at the time, I love to decorate. So during that whole feng shui process too, when I was helping clients with solutions, it was always about easy stuff like add a mirror, add a plant, bring in this energy, bring in some water energy. Let's add a fire element here. So adding in elements and getting creative with those elements. So having the vision to say, okay, I think you should do this here. It'll look amazing. Like a bold mural in your fire corner, that would just fire things up for you, right? In your success area, in your reputation area. So, 2015, I said to my partner at the time, let's open up this as a show home and let's see where this takes us. And that just opened up a new avenue for us, for him in construction and for me in interior design. And as soon as I opened up my show home, that was 14,000 square feet. My greatest challenge there was, how am I going to warm up that much square footage? Like in real estate, that's a lot of real estate to warm up. So I'm like, how am I going to make this cozy? How am I going to make this building feel like home?
Right.
And I actually exceeded my own expectations because I had to just wing it, but I do have the vision. So every space that I went into, I kind of closed my eyes and I visualized. I'm a dreamer. So I visualized every space and then I kind of put notes together. Okay, this is the furnishings I'm going to do. These are the colors that we're going to flow through the home. Everything needs to connect because now I've got the energy background. Now with energy, if you have disconnections in your home, that could be color disconnections, elements disconnected, elements in wrong places, your energy is completely off. And that is why you could be sitting in a room and you'd be like, why am I feeling so sad? It's just because maybe in that space, the element isn't suiting that space. So let's say it's a relationship corner and you've got a lot of, I don't know, blue going on in that area. So if you've got the color blue going on in that whole relationship area, maybe that's going to make you more emotional, right? I mean, it's water. Water energy is all about emotions. So just subtle things like that. So anyways, going back to the 14,000 square feet, mindfully, I had to curate every space to make sure that it is flowing energetically and connecting and putting in the right furnishings with the right elements. So putting in like the water feature, we had a beautiful water feature in the home, making sure that it's in the career corner. Then we had a grand fireplace, making sure that that was in the reputation corner, for success. Everything enhancing the relationship corner, the children's corner, the health corner, making sure that the health area was free and clear of any kind of heaviness. So no bathrooms, no drains, just making sure there's no heavy staircases. Small little simple things like making sure that the staircase doesn't open up to the front door, there's no mirrors in front of beds, all that stuff. And wherever I felt like, okay, maybe energy may get stagnant in this home as a show home, just adding things like chimes or anything that would move energy, I would add to those spaces. So yeah, it was so much fun doing that. And I didn't even realize while having all that fun and staging and designing and furnishing that home, that I was actually opening up doors to a new career and a new profession. And as soon as we opened the doors for that show home, everybody lined up to see it. The response was just overwhelming. What worked in my favor and what was a positive or made me a winner at that time was everybody loved and appreciated my design. They loved the furnishings, they appreciated what I did, and I think more over, like above all of that, I think it was more the energy that I intentionally put into the home. So intentionally going into every space and infusing it with energy and the right elements, that's something you can't touch. That's something people felt. So
Right.
as guests were going through the home, they were feeling happy. They would come out and they'd be like, oh my God. And they would just, honestly, I saw their energy get just elevated. So when they were walking into the space and walking out, I saw a big difference in just their energy
That
and
is
how
amazing.
excited. Yeah,
And what a
it was so
testimonial.
rewarding. It was
Yeah.
rewarding because every person that walked through that space somewhere, I was touching their life by just shifting their energy through what I did in the space and the kind of energy I infused in that space. So it felt amazing. I mean, we were open Saturdays and Sundays. So for me, it was like, okay, I just made their weekend so much more better because they felt good. They walked out into the world feeling better. And, a lot of them came back. I still like 2016 is when we opened. I still see and meet people that actually went through my showroom. I don't remember all of them. They still come back to tell me, oh my God, we walked through your showroom. We still remember how beautiful it was and how we felt. So for me, I feel like I'm so grateful because that gave me an opportunity to touch that many more lives through that journey.
Well, and
And to
what an amazing testimonial for the practice, right? Because you were following your path and going, following your passion, but also this home then became a beacon for everybody else and it attracted the people to you so that you
Yes.
ended up launching not just in real estate, but you ended up branching out into interior design and then also furnishing and consultation and feng shui from that very one beacon, that one project, right?
Yep, 100%. That one project helped me amalgamate all of the skills that I was actually collecting over the years. So first it was the real estate part of things. Then it was understanding the energy part of things in a home. And then came the interior design and the beauty. So how we feel inside is actually a reflection of our, like, how we feel inside, our outside is going to be the same way. Like outside is a reflection of our inner world. If we're happy inside, it's only because our outside is calm, it's serene. Then you're going to feel like, just very relaxed in your mind. It's only when you're in a cluttered space, if you're in a space that isn't serving you, you're going to start to feel uptight. You're going to start to see the emotions. You will be uncomfortable in your body. That is only because your environment isn't serving you. So that's why energy and interior design together play a huge role in people's mindset, how they feel. So I've noticed through this whole construction and design journey that a lot of times people will spend all the money in the world building a grand home. But when it comes time to furnishing it or even adding a bit of design to it, they run out of budget. And I like to tell people, keep a very, very healthy budget right in the beginning for that, because how you feel in your home is key. You're building this huge home because you want to feel good. You're moving into this home because you're so excited. The emotions attached to a new home are supposed to be positive, but a lot of times they turn into being a negative because along the way there's you end up making mistakes, there's disconnections, color palettes get disconnected, elements don't match, they go into wrong places, and then all of a sudden you move in and you start to feel unhappy. And that is only because you weren't mindful right from the start to ask for assistance or help. There is a reason for that. So if you get an interior designer who has some sort of energetic background, she will ensure that when you move into your space, you're going to feel like even more elated than from the whole process.
I
Like you're
love
going to feel happy every day of your life. You're going to feel happy in your home. That's your largest commodity. You want to feel happy. That's your serene. It should be so serene. And that is your sanctuary. You come home from a tired day of work. You want to make sure your home is serving you.
absolutely. And it's so interesting to me that that is so easily overlooked all the time.
100%. Yeah.
Even in a time period where we're more aware than let's say we ever have been in some aspects. Although I would say this, the rise of the homemaker and when women were, more in the home, there was more attention being paid to how we were using spaces and the presentations of homes. And I'm certainly not suggesting that that was a better era for women, but it certainly was a time where more emphasis was put on what was happening in the home and how we're functioning in the home and even the less cluttered homes. I think that as women and roles have changed, these things just go by the wayside. No one's got time, you
Yeah.
know. And then your family grows, as you know, having three beautiful boys, and I've got two beautiful girls. They change and their needs change, and so the spaces change over time. But sometimes we get stuck in a moment, I guess, and we don't move with the changes. And then, like you said, we don't consider how that may be making us feel or making us feel stuck or uncomfortable, or we just want to change, or maybe it's lethargy, maybe it's making us tired. Could it do that as well?
100%. It can make you tired because you walk into your space and if it doesn't feel good to you, if you're like, oh, I hate that couch, I hate that fireplace, I hate that tile. When you're saying this and you're doing all the self-talk in your head, you're attracting negative energy to yourself. So people don't realize that you have to love every bit of your space. So when you are in your home, every bit of it, every piece of furniture you should passionately be in love with it, because only then, if you're going to give out love, you're going to attract it back and you're going to feel happy. So if you're unhappy from inside, if you're hating it, you're saying, I hate it, well, then you're just attracting more and more negative. You're hating your space. Now, that's the space that's supposed to make you feel safe. That's the space that's supposed to give you relaxation. That home is supposed to make you feel like, okay, this is my place where I need to unwind, just relax and just feel good. Now it's not making you feel any of the above. So that's where change needs to come in. And change is healthy. And then when you bring in positive changes, bring in beauty, aesthetically pleasing spaces, energetically connecting space, like when you connect all your spaces in your home, you're going to feel so happy. Even in your challenges, you're somewhere going to find comfort because your home is your safe space.
I love that. And often, because I work with stagers in the Ontario and Toronto area, and we've been staging for many years now. And I work with a talented individual, and I feel like she picks out people's best pieces, probably the pieces that they love, and she integrates them in a space. And people come back and fall in love with their own space again. So oftentimes they're like, well, I don't even know if I want to sell this anymore because it looks so good now. And it still has a piece of them. It's still probably the pieces that they love most. And it's just integrated in showcasing, the space so it's at its largest and it's flowing at its best. So it's very interesting to me that I love this. This is a total affirmation of why this is so important. And it reminds me as well of that book, was it Mary Kondo, who does that about your wardrobe? That you should actually love, like one of her pieces was to go through your wardrobe and say, like, do I love this? And if I don't love this, then let it go.
100%.
What you're doing is you're clearing out that energetic space for other good things to come in. And you're only keeping the things that you love and that probably look good on you. And you feel like it's generating, instead of that stagnancy of holding on to all those old clothes that we don't wear anymore, that clutter our environment, and we're opening up space now for more things that we love to come in.
I love that. Yes, you're so right. Now, if you can do that in your wardrobe, why not in your home? Right?
Well, you see, I have always been a person of I'm an advocate for love in all aspects, but like I love the things that I buy. I only buy things that I love. Jewelry, clothing, furniture, and I will spend extra money on those things to enjoy. So I don't feel like I have the talent that you have, which is to draw it all together. But what I do have are things that surround me that I love because I don't bring things that I don't love into my space. But what I find so interesting about something that you said here is about the movement of those pieces. And the idea that clutter can really be robbing you of your serenity and your peace. And that even these things that we love, if we leave them in this space for too long, or we don't adjust them, that they're not adjusting with us.
Right.
So I love that you brought that piece to our attention because that's something that we can do every day. Like, how do I feel in this space? Am I feeling tired in this space because it's a mess? Does it need a fresh coat of paint? Does it need like an amazing thing that happens at a very sort of economical level is a fresh coat of paint can do a world of wonder in a house, right? It opens up a space.
I I honestly, when I walk into a space and if I get asked, how do I freshen up this space? Because it's just feeling like blah to me. Cushions, very cost-effective way to add new energy to a space. Vibrant cushions. Now, depending on what corner their living room or their family room is situated in, I will see on the bagua, and then I will recommend the color related to the element for that space. And I'll be like, okay, put in green cushions. That green energy is going to make things thrive for you, right? In your wealth or finances. Another thing that I'm a big advocate for is wallpaper. Oh my God, the energy that wallpaper changes is just unreal. You can walk into a space with bare walls, which feels sad, and depressing. And then all of a sudden, if you actually wrap them in wallpaper, it's a game changer. You're going to be like, oh my God, you take that space from 0 to 10 within just, just that one little change.
And I 100% advocate reaching out to Seema for this, because when it comes to wallpaper and accent walls, it can be hero to zero and zero to hero. You definitely want to consult with someone on that because it can be too much, it can be the
Yes.
wrong colors, or
Yes.
it can have this massive impact. And, this is what I see designers do that I applaud so much is, wallpapering a small bathroom in a color that I would never choose, maybe something along this line. And I'm like, wow, that looks amazing. And I would only think to keep it light to open the space, whereas sometimes these dark little bathrooms with the patterns can be so incredible. And
They
that
add mood. They add mood. They change the vibe of that space, especially your powder rooms.
yeah,
Yeah, powder rooms should be a bit on the moodier side, right? It just, and I tend to go with darker wallpapers for those areas, and they look stunning. Yes, they're smaller spaces, but I mean, in that small little space, you want to keep it nice and just, elegant.
cozy, elegant and cozy.
Yeah, cozy. Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like it's
So
some vast
I I
space.
carry I carry several lines of wallpapers, all kinds of textures and patterns and whatnot. Now the hard part is when somebody comes to you and says, "Well, out of your 400 books, how do I pick the right wallpaper?" That's where I help. That's where I assist, telling them and showing them and guiding them to the right wallpaper, keeping everything in mind as far as where is their bathroom on the bagua, what elements are happening in that space, what kind of energy do I want to add to their space, and that's where I make my recommendations. I'm like, okay, these are the papers I think that are going to look amazing. Now, another thing that I do that I wanted to discuss on this podcast is I do wallpaper stories. So you'll see wallpapers sometimes come in the same color palette, but different textures, patterns. Could be anything from solids to a little bit of texture to bold to print. I take some of those and I actually create the story in one space. So by adding 3 different wallpapers from the same color palette and flowing them, that's actually a thing. That is something that people probably would think, oh no, it just get too busy. No, it doesn't. If you do it right, you're able to connect all 3, 4 wallpapers and as a whole space cohesively, it will flow harmoniously. It looks unreal. I did it in this show home, and some of those spaces where I did those wallpaper stories are my favorite rooms because they just feel so
The wall.
elevated with energy. Yeah.
That's so exciting. So you absolutely have to consult with Seema on a wallpaper story. And I highly recommend it because I think it could be a wallpaper nightmare if you try and do it by yourself. Uh, Guided with the right person. And this is one of the amazing things about Zoom calls and mobile phones is that you can actually, even though you're serving the Edmonton and surrounding area from a real estate perspective, you can actually do consultations globally. Is that right?
That is correct. So I'm not just limited to Edmonton when it comes to interior design. We can offer furnishings, wallpapers, design consultations, everything remotely as well. I have traveled to meet with clients as well to ensure that we put everything together on mood boards and give them a proposal for design and furnishings and wallpapers. So the world today is really small, and we are blessed to be connected like this virtually, and even if we have to go in person, there's always that option. But I can take design globally today just because of this whole virtual aspect. It's very easy today. So I can serve more people that way.
That is amazing. But if you are in the Edmonton and surrounding area, you actually do have a storefront where you have furnishings that you sell and decor items. Is that right?
That is right. So I have a design center that I have an 8,600 square foot space in the west of Edmonton on 184th Street. And the second level of that space is all interior design and design related items that we sell, our services. I also run my real estate brokerage out of there, so it's perfect. We've got both of them amalgamated in that space. And then the main floor of that space is about 5,000 square feet with a big, huge warehouse in the back. And I'm opening up that space now to cater more to the masses. So we're starting a consignment store for brand new furnishings from the main floor. So that way I'm able to help those clients that are more price conscious or are looking for more cost effective but quality items, but for less. This way now I've got items on consignment that are brand new. They are branded. You'll be able to come in and you'll be able to pick up unique pieces, like really outside the box pieces for a lot less. So
I
this way
love
now I can help everybody, right?
I'm
Not
a
just
big advocate for consignment because number one, you don't ever get sort of your money back or the appreciation sometimes for some of these pieces. But really, some of my favorite pieces are so unique and they're not on the newer side or the newer style. And you really tap into some incredible pieces. Now, from a feng shui point of view, like, do you do anything where you blessing the pieces as they sort of come in, or do you do anything with that?
No, we don't bless the pieces, but because the intention is of service, every piece that or everything that I take on in the store, it's set and staged in the store with the intention that it's going to energetically serve the person that takes it home. So everything that's on my floor already has a name on it. That person just has to walk through the door and take it to their space. My whole intention is I hope it goes into that home that is going to serve that person where they love the piece, they give it love, and that piece gives them love back. So
Oh,
that's how it is. So every piece has like lots of intention set towards it. So
I love it. That's so great. Now, where can people reach out to you? I know you mentioned your store, which is in the Edmonton area. Do you like people to connect with you on Instagram, on YouTube? Where can people find you?
I'm on every platform. I'm on Instagram under just flauntit.yg. I'm on Facebook under my first name, Seema Sahni. You'll see pages for Flaunt Interiors and Real Estate. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on YouTube. I've started a YouTube channel as well. I'm on Pinterest. So I'm actually everywhere. And you know what? You can even phone call me or message me. I'm very, very prompt with my responses. I respond back to everybody, and I'm on WhatsApp as well. So you can reach me in every way.
She's everywhere. So
Yeah.
definitely if you're in the Edmonton and surrounding area, you want to check out her showroom and her space there, but you can connect with her globally through Instagram, YouTube, or any of the social media platforms. Thank you so much for sharing with us today and sharing this really interesting and I think progressive way to like it's next level. It's totally next level when it comes to selling your home and designing your home and being at peace with your space and having intention for what you're doing. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And thank you, Nicole, for giving me this opportunity to share my passion and the skills that I've actually collected and attained over the years with people. I'm so happy because this somewhere again is serving so many other people. Some people that are actually looking for me, you're actually going to be the medium to connect me to them. So I'm grateful for that
And
opportunity.
what we can do a follow up on some of these wallpaper stories because I'm so hooked
100%.
on what
Yes.
wallpaper
I
story.
can't wait to show you.
We'll do a wallpaper story together, and that will
That
be
sounds great.
amazing.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Thanks so much.